What's good, Exiles? In today's video, I will talk about the 5 Ascendancies we have learned about in today's developer stream from GGG about the new patch 02 called the Dawn of the Hunt. And let me tell you, it's something to look forward to. I will have more videos covering all the news and all the stuff regarding the next patch because there is so many things, so much about it. So anyways, first things first, Ascendancy for Mercenary called Tactician. This Ascendancy is very interesting because you can play various builds on this one, from support in the group to totems, minions, you name it. So first thing, let's take a look on the right side here. We have a totem damage increase that links up to cannons already, which your totems will have multiplicative skill speed, and totems can only use skills when you fire an attack projectile. So you'll need an attack ability that has projectile tag underneath its name for this to trigger. So this is, multiplicative skill speed sounds pretty insane. Next up, we got minion damage increase, and this links to the new skill called Supporting Fire. I will show it in my other videos how it looks. It's just Rain of Fire basically on the screen, and this will scale from dexterity, its accuracy rating, and then damage from strength. It's pretty funny because Mark said on the dev stream today that stat stacking is gone. Needs to get out of here. So we'll see how this will be. We'll see after the patch notes, which release next week in a couple of days, how much is stat stacking nerfed. But pretty interesting idea. Nice setup. On the other side here, this is more like the defensive side. So we got polished gear. This will give you extra stun threshold from armor and extra elemental element threshold from evasion rating, which is not too bad. Will protect you from debuffs. And up top we have stay alight, use cover. You will defend more with armor. Now armor, it doesn't seem like they talked about the armor in the dev stream, but it doesn't seem like it's getting buffed. But again, we shall see. And your max evade chance is increased to 50%, and max physical damage is 50% as well. So you know what? This is actually not too bad. This could be pretty insane. And on the left side, which is more interesting in my opinion, so we have increased spirit 8% on the small node, which I find very powerful. On the left side, we got a solid plan where persistent buffs have 50% less reservation. So they can be stacked with auras and whatnot for the group play, or even solo, right? You can play any build on this practically. Up top, we have the increase presence area of effect. So your auras will reach, further. And then we have watch how I do it. Your allies in presence will gain added attack damage equal to 25% of your main hand weapons damage. This could be really something insane for the group play with like melee players in the group, especially Huntress. I will show you in a second the Ascendancy for Huntress. I cannot believe they are serious with that. But anyways, this is pretty good. And my favorite for this Ascendancy is banners have more AoE. But we can place multiple banners. I always wanted to use banners because I find it's just fun to use banners. But without any support, as in especially the AoE, they were pretty weak because the range wasn't too high. It could be only usable for busts, for example. With this increased AoE though, it seems pretty cool, I would say. And then the middle side, or the middle here, we have the increase a pin buildup, and pinned enemies cannot perform actions. This is going to be also something absolutely insane, which means they cannot do anything, and pin buildup as well. And your proj damage builds pin. So there is a support gem where it says that instead of stun, you use pin. There are boots that may say that physical damage pins the target as well. This could be a great way to generate some easy frenzy charges through Combat Frenzy, which says if you pin enemy, you get frenzy charge. And you can even use Resonance Keystone, which converts frenzy charge to power charge. So I can see some options here with this Ascendancy. Next up, we got the Warrior. This is the Blacksmith of Kitava, if I remember correctly. This Ascendancy is pretty interesting style to it, interesting vibe. Yet I think kind of underwhelming. I cannot help myself. So at this point right here is set to be free. You will not spend 1 point if you click this. You will spend points for all these little nodes though, which give you various defensive versions or variations. So Max Fire Rest, which is amazing. This would link perfectly with Forged in Flame, where Max Fire Rest also accounts for Max Cold and Lightning. So this could be very powerful. Molten Symbol and other good stuff. Body Armor grants 25% of physical damage from hits taken as fire damage. Next up, we got crit damage reduction. We got regeneration here. Now, normal body armor means it's gotta be great armor, but higher level great armors have so-called implicits, and there is a chest piece that gives you a life regen percentage, similar to this one. So we can probably make an insane life regen build. I also played it in the right upper corner on my Sunder Infernalist, and it was really good. We got some resistances here, lightning, fire, or cold, which is quite a lot. Now, you can basically craft your armor through these points, right? So if you get these resistances, you can probably just invest in other stats on your jewelry, for example. You can get max life increase. This is literally the Ascendancy on Titan. We get 20% increased strength. This is also pretty insane. And some other stuff here. On the left side, we got a minion increased damage. And this is pretty interesting. This will manifest a weapon, which could be pretty powerful. And we're gonna see like this can be played as a minion build, I guess. They showcase this build as with the weapon and also the blacksmith himself attacking. On the other side, we have a melee damage increase, and this one is temper weapon. You basically spawn an anvil and you basically upgrade your weapon, and that will add fire damage to your weapon and basically explosions when you hit targets. So that looked pretty interesting as well. On the far left here, we have increased fire damage, and this is fire spell on hit. We are not sure because they have not talked about it. If this is any spell on hit, which will be basically free cast on shock, stuff like that, without any spirit reservation, or if this is literally just a fire spell itself. So then you would build it as a spell damage build, if it has spell damage, like, or spell tag. So kind of a big question mark here, but it does seem pretty interesting. And another one here, we have Cold Stoker. So modifiers to fire res also grant cold and lightning res at 50% of the value, which, you know what, yeah, that's not too bad. Like, resistance in general in this Ascendancy, I can see this super tanky, but I'm just not sure if this will be enough damage through these. But I will make sure to make a build about this 100%. You guys know me, some of you, I'm a big about melee builds, so yeah. Next Ascendancy, we have a Lich. This is for the Witch Ascendancy, which is also pretty interesting. This is chaos-based Ascendancy, all the doubts and whatnot. So small note in here says 20% increased energy shield, which in today's game, or today's version of the game, is very powerful, but they confirmed the energy shield got butchered, not butchered, but just nerfed. This note here will increase the effect of your Sakura Jewel by 100%, but if you have no energy shield, your mana skyrockets by 50%. So gotta be careful about that. Small note here is you will get energy shield 30% if you have consumed a power charge recently. And this links to price of power. Non-channeling spells consume power charge to deal more damage. More means multiplicative. This seems very powerful. Very powerful. This can even be played on a mage with Spark, but we know that Spark is also probably getting nerfed. Next up here we got Soulless Form. Damage taken bypasses energy shield. You have no mana regen, but you regen mana equal to your max life per second. You can get some max life here as well, and another one with Eternal Life. Your life cannot change well with energy shield, so this is like CI, Chaos Ejaculation, so this could be pretty interesting. Next up on the left side, I think is more interesting. So here we have Necromantic Conduit. You and allies in your presence have Unholy Might. Unholy Might grants 30% of all damage as extra chaos, which sounds insane as well as a damage boost, but you lose mana per second, which you can probably counter with Soulless Form. Next up in here, we have Rapture the Soul. Cursed enemies killed by you or allies in your presence have a chance to explode, dealing quarter of their max life as chaos damage. Very good for map clearing, I can already see that. Next up here, we got Eldritch Empowerment. Non-channeling spells will cost additional energy shield and deal more damage though, 30%. So with this, it's like 55% multiplicative damage, which could be absolutely crazy. Now, spending energy shield that does not interrupt a recharge. Max mana on this small node, and here we have the Dominion over Flesh. You can apply additional curse, and your curses can affect hexproof enemies. This will be great for Expedition because some of the enemies will get this tag. And last passive here, we get increased AoE for curses and magnitude increase of Unholy Might buffs you grant per mana. So if you stack mana with this bad boy, oh boy, this will be some insane powerful aura here for damage. Now we got Huntress. So the first one we got literally called Amazon. Very interesting setup with this one as well. Let's go on the right side. We get evasion increase. Here we get another evasion from double evasion from headpiece, gloves, and boots, but the evasion on body armor is halved. Next up, we got the flask recovery, and this links to Asmeri Brew. So your life flask will recover mana, and vice versa, mana will recover life. On this side, we got Mystic Harvest. Life Leech recovers based on your elemental damage as well as physical. This could be insane. Life or Leech in general right now is not the strongest in PoE2 because enemies have Leech resistances, but with this, it could potentially be pretty decent. Now, on the middle path here, we get Evasion Increase, and we have something called Elemental Fusion. So you will get a new skill, Infuse Weapon, and if you consume each of the charges, you will get extra Infusion. And this is basically Explosion. When your projectile spear attack impacts, on the ground, it will explode. So Cold Infusion is Cold Explosion, Fire Explosion, and Lightning Explosion. And last one here is Infuse Avatar. 50% chance for Infusion to not be consumed when infusing a projectile. So I can see myself experimenting with this. I'm a big fan of Lightning. I feel like Lightning is the strongest because of Shock debuff in the game being absolutely bonkers. So yeah. Middle path here, Predator Instinct, reveal weaknesses against rare and unique enemies. It's like these weaknesses are highlighted on the health bar. They are highlighted, so you will know exactly what's the weakness, and you will get 50% multiplicative damage against enemies with open weakness, which is a lot. Also, this small note gives you skill speed increase, which is pretty sick, and this one will give you accuracy. On the next one down here, hold on, we got In for the Kill, which is the follow-up here in the middle. So you have movement speed increase and skill speed increase while an enemy has an open weakness in your presence. This is quite insane. 40% is wild. Next up on the bottom path here, we got a Critical Strike. Basically, you will get the more chance to hit for attacks can exceed 100%, and anything extra over that with accuracy converts to crit chance. Someone was asking me about that today on the stream. There we go. So this Ascendancy screams to me, it's just accuracy stacker. Predator Instinct, I already talked about it, it's in the middle. And the last passive here, we got Penetrate. Attacks using your weapons have added physical damage equal to your accuracy rating of 25%. So again, another accuracy. This could go really crazy. If you can stack accuracy pretty high, there are pretty good passives in the skill tree. I like that kind of. And the last thing, the most broken one, is a Ritualist. I have no clue how they are serious with this Ascendancy. Anyways, as a base ability for Huntress, you can now tame rare enemies. You can if there is a rare with like 6 mods, you can tame it. It will fight with you, okay? On top of that, let me start with something called Soul Eater. Some of you may know it from PoE1. Basically, it's the ritual sacrifice. When you kill a rare, you can stab it and absorb its modifiers onto you. So if you have, I don't know, the mana donut or the one temporal that slows times, like where enemies, the big bubble where enemies are slow around you, you can have it all on you for a period of time, like half a minute, something like that. And then you have upgrade of it. It's called As the Whispers Demand. At the cost of 20% of your max life, you can stab yourself, if you will, and get yourself at least one mod. Any mod, as far as I understood from any rare. Just any mod that rares have. Okay, let that settle in, right? On the right side here, we got physical damage increase and blood boil. This will be like basically bleed explosions. So bleed build will be very viable, I feel like, on the Huntress. And there is other stuff that will support bleed even more, like support gems, as they are adding 100+ support gems. I will have a video about it later as well. In the middle path here is probably the most ethical one. Everything else seems broken. So +1 charm slot and more charm charges gained. And they have set or even showed some unique charms coming in patch 02. And the last one here is can instead consume 25% of max mana to trigger charms with insufficient charges. And some of the charges seem pretty build defining, kind of. But the another one to be viable with persistence, increased life recovery per 5% missing life. So it looks like they're kind of focusing on life regen builds or like Ascendancies we have seen from the Witch in here. Now on here, the small notes, we have reduced spirit 25% or elemental resistance or max mana. I believe the resistances are the least impactful one. Now here is where it gets absolutely crazy. +1 ring slot, okay? That's one thing. We know that rings are pretty insane, especially on melee builds. Some of you may know from my builds, I like to add flat damage on rings because that scales your abilities like crazy. So you have 3 rings, increase attributes, that's whatever. But Mystic Attunement here, 25% increase bonuses gained from equipped rings and amulets. Ingenuity, unique belt, gives you the same for your rings, but it is higher value. And then you can, on top of that, use this Mystic Attunement to for all 3 rings on top of amulet. Why? I have no words for this, man. Like, whew, well, let me tell you my plan for next patch release. I will be playing Ritualist on Huntress. I'll be playing Lightning setup. There, we already seen some skills on the database. So I'll probably, we don't, these are not all the skills. I believe they said there's 22 skills for Huntress, new skills. So I will probably play Storm Spear, just anything lightning related, because I believe shock is just insanely disgusting in this game. So that will be my focus on the release of the O2. But yeah, anyways, these are early Ascendancies we know of, what we know about. Try to keep the video short, but more to come. I will discuss all the added stuff and whatnot. So you will see me with all the good stuff in here and whatnot. But thank you everybody for watching. I appreciate you all. And I also stream every day on Twitch and YouTube. If you want to stop by, you are more than welcome to. And anyways, until next time, you have a great one and peace.